Video 19. So we've been talking about manifesting, we've been talking about the brain and using 100% of it. Again, there's no documentation that anyone's used even more than 15% of the brain. I don't think so. So, I mean, we could only imagine what might be possible. Again, manipulation of atoms, there's so many things. Uh, I did watch a movie one time that was pretty interesting. It was all theory. I mean, it was a movie, but it was called Lucy with Scarlett Johansson, who I like as an act. Well, I think she's pretty, but that's a whole nother story. Um, it was about somebody who, through drug induced drug induction, she was able to use 100% of the brain, and it was interesting to watch what the maker of that movie had in mind. And again, who knows if it's possible or not? That movie, you don't know. It's all most of the stuff that we do know is theory about how long the universe has been around. I mean, there's so many theories. Nothing is actually proven. And again, let's get back to the brain, how we've used things from the beginning. We've had ego from the beginning of time, and although we didn't, it wasn't as strong. Remember, it was the fear of certain things, fear of the night, fear of being, I mean, fear of many things. And we after when we got the ability to actually communicate and talk, that's when we came up with names for stuff like the moon and the sun, stars. I mean, we've made quite a language. But again, this language is based on what we all agree that it is. But in essence, it's more than that. It is. You don't know true purpose. I mean, we have ideas. The moon goes around the earth, and the earth goes around the sun, and the sun's shooting through space. It's amazing if you think about that alone. I mean, if you just think about that alone, I mean, if you're not amazed by nature in general, just think about that. The earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour on an axis as it circles the sun at about, they say, 67,000 miles an hour to go around the sun, as the sun is shooting through the Milky Way at like a 500,000 miles an hour. Just think about that. And do you know that it is so perfect that if any of these things went off by a degree, more or less, I believe, that's it. It's over. And it's been doing that, though, for a billion of years, billions of years. Since it all started, since this earth was formed. And it's pretty amazing because remember, everything that this earth is formed from was from exploding stars and matter and stuff like that in the universe. And everything that's on this earth, all the atoms, were from those stars. So literally, me, you, and everything else on this earth is made of stars. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that great? I mean, if you think about it, we all have this bad feeling about ourselves. A lot of people are down and out, but again, that's just ego. You know, ego is very destructive in lots of ways. Lots of ways. It's like a child that's out of control, but it's a child, nevertheless. But it's out of control, and it'll do anything. As you can watch the news any day, you could see what the ego will do for its pride and its, who it is and who it wants to be and all of that stuff. Just think about what the stories that must go on. Everyone has a skeleton in their closet. Everyone. From you to your best friends to your aunts, your uncles, sisters, brothers, mother, father. Everyone has a skeleton. You don't know what someone is capable of because it's really not them, it's their ego. I know you haven't yet figured out how to separate the two, how to separate the ego from the person. Because underneath all that ego, underneath everyone's ego, is the same presence, the essence, the essence of who we all are. So no matter how bad of a person you think somebody is, underneath that thing, that brain, that energy, that negative energy, is the same thing. It might look different, no matter what it is, and we've been taught to fear people because of their religion, because of how they look, their skin color, how they live, all of that stuff. But in actuality, we're all the same. And that's the beautiful part of it, is that there is an end to all of this. You understand? There is an end to this. Eventually, the ego is like a snake that is coming around and eating itself, because that's basically what it does. It'll eat itself and it'll burn out. I mean, but right now it's a part of who you are. So you can't get mad at it. You can't be angry. You can't, that's fighting with yourself. There are two people inside here. There's two people, at least. If you talk to yourself, who are you talking to? Who's the discussion with? What are you trying to figure out? With who? Yourself? You can't talk to yourself. You're actually talking to another, I guess, entity, whatever you might want to call it. Because what's the difference between what you're doing and a person who's talking to themselves out loud? You're just doing it inside your head. They're doing it out loud. There ain't that much of a difference. Their mouth is moving. Yours ain't. But you know what I'm saying? You see people, walking around the street having an argument with themselves. People do that all the time. You do that all the time. I used to do that all the time. Judgments, what to do, what not to do. These are the little things. Granted, it's still going to happen every once in a while. You're going to have these things happen once in a while. But when they start consuming you through depression or through anger, through jealousy, being vengeful, pride, it's not good. You're being consumed now. And that's not a good thing. Because then you're really not seeing the world for what it is. You have yet to see the world for what it is, the beauty. Every once in a while, you look up at the sky, you see a beautiful scenery, and you're awestruck. You're like, wow, beautiful. That's the moments. That's the moments where the brain is, you're awestruck by nature, by beauty. Not by a new car, not by a big house. That's not you, that's ego who's awestruck. Maybe we might be getting the idea of how insidious this could be. Well, I know it is. Maybe you're getting the idea of how insidious it is.